God in the deep. Oh yeah, I'm still saying this bitch.
What's up, Timmy Turners? Welcome back at it again with another video, and today we are going to be reacting by criminals crimes commit with deepfakes AI by TUV. So let's just get into the video.
We're living in weirdly interesting times where criminals have free access to deepfake technology. From pretending to be Mr. Beast and hosting an iPhone giveaway scam, to a high school principal's voice being generated to say racist remarks, to even middle schoolers using it to generate inappropriate images of their classmates and teachers. Join me today as we talk about crimes committed with deepfakes. Now, if I'm going to have a video dedicated to deepfakes, let's first go over the definition. The definition of deepfake is a video of a person in which their face or body has been digitally altered so that they appear to be someone else, typically used maliciously or to spread false information. But we're not only going to talk about videos, we're also going to be talking about generated audio and images. Also, I do want to say a little mini announcement. I do have a new talk show / solo podcast named Channel TUV. That's a show I'm using to talk about topics that are too inappropriate to talk here, where I give you guys a little quick spiel before the video starts, but a lot of things I'm going to talk about over there are just inappropriate, so it wouldn't make sense to talk about other stuff I want to. Like, before we get into it,
Of course,
I just want
because of
a
YouTube.
community hub for the fan base, and I'm going to be opening fan mail over there and talking about pop culture stuff. But episode 1 is me talking about Rule 34 art that you guys dropped me, because I guess you guys like drawing Rule 34 art of me. But yeah, you see why it's getting its own platform. That's also available on Spotify and soon going to be on Apple Podcasts.
Wait a minute,
It's
that's a tattoo saying ugly?
Watch, see if you like it or not. Also, if you aren't subscribed, don't even worry about that. I'll earn your subscription by the end of this video. But without further ado,
Please go subscribe to him. Go do that.
let's get started with the video. Fake racist audio of a Maryland high school principal. Another strange case where deepfake tech was used to commit a crime was the fake leaked recording of a high school principal in Maryland supposedly going on a racist rant. The audio, which was first leaked on Instagram before spreading elsewhere, has the voice of Pikesville High School principal Eric Eiswert complaining about the Jewish community, making anti-Semitic remarks, and also talking of, well, I'll just let you guys hear the audio.
I'm the principal here, me and only me. I seriously don't understand why I have to constantly put up with this. Between these ungrateful black kids who can't test their way out of a paper bag, or these teachers who don't get it, how hard is it to get these students to meet their grade level expectations? Lawrence and Ravenel should have never been hired. And don't let me get started on media. I'm going to drag these black kids out of here one way or another. And if I have to get one more complaint from one more Jew in this community, I'm going to join the other side. Kathy, I'm done.
Now, for context, the principal Eiswert is a white man, so you can probably imagine
So what he
the
did-
damage that was done to his reputation. By the time the Baltimore County Public Schools investigated and determined that the voice was AI generated, the viral nature of the clip had already caused profound repercussions. The principal was already placed on leave, and police officers assigned by the court to his residence because both he and his family were at significant risk. Social media platforms were also apparently full of hateful messages towards him, and the school kept receiving lots of angry phone calls from all over. That also meant there was disruption of normal learning activities, with some teachers even fearing that there could be recording devices planted in various spots around the school. Now, naturally, as probably any other innocent person would do, when the recording came out, Eiswert denied being involved whatsoever, stating that that wasn't his voice in the audio clip. That, however, didn't stop speculations and unease in the Pikesville high school community as people began poking and dissecting every second of the clip. There was, for instance, the mention of Kathy in a negative light, which was suspected to refer to Kathy Albert, the assistant principal. Then there was the mention of an employee that Eiswert apparently wanted gone so bad, one way or another. Add all that to the racist and anti-Semitic comments, and you can see why everyone really wanted to know what was going on. I mean, Eiswert had been working in Baltimore County schools since 1997, that's a whole 27 years, so they kind of deserved answers. Eventually, everyone did find out what was going on. Investigations led to a 31-year-old man by the name of Dazon Darian, the school's athletic director. It turns out that the whole thing was a revenge ploy after Darian felt disgruntled when Eiswert raised concerns over his work performance and alleged that he had misused school funds. For his crime, Darian ended up facing charges including theft, disruption of school activities, stalking, and retaliating against the witness. These charges were just the beginning though, because further investigations revealed revealed, Darian had a pretty fishy background career-wise. As reported by Fox, the primary investigation into the fake recordings raised suspicion about how Darian had been hired in the first place. It then turned out that he had actually misrepresented his credentials a lot. Like a lot of lies on his resume, including credentials he didn't have and work experience that was fabricated. This put Baltimore County Public Schools on the spot because someone without even a teaching certificate, let alone a college accreditation, required the position.
That's the thing, you should check people. That's why you should check people backgrounds before you hire them. In AI, you would think that AI is designed to take our jobs and nothing more and nothing less. Like, nah, you could create fake criminals and shit. Damn.
Position ended up being hired and earning 6 figures. Anyway, all that aside, the case is still ongoing and we have yet to find out how long he's going to be sentenced for.
And when was this?
Deepfake Mr. Beast phone scam. About a year ago in October of 2023, an extremely popular YouTuber who, if you haven't watched any of his videos, I'm sure you've at least heard the name, tweeted about an AI deepfake of him going around. In this video, which seems to be
he's one of the YouTubers that I know,
the scammer
but never
used
watched.
Mr. Beast's AI clone to announce, quote, the world's largest iPhone 15 giveaway.
If you're watching this video, you're one of the 10,000 lucky people who will get an iPhone 15 Pro for just $2. I'm Mr. Beast, and I'm doing the world's largest iPhone 15 giveaway. Click the link below to claim yours now.
Word eventually got back to Mr. Beast, leading him to tweet the following. Lots of people are getting this deepfake scam out of me. Are social media platforms ready to handle the rise of AI deepfakes? This is a serious problem. When opening the link, NBC wrote that at the top of the page there would be a counter that would show the.
I mean, if you are a big YouTuber, you are gonna have people trying to come at you, trying to ruin your reputation.
It's really happening, and oh, I got a rush to put in my credit card details. The page also would ask people if they're at least 18 years or older, and they also displayed several satisfied customers that were holding up their iPhones as if they actually won. Now, sadly, I don't have a screenshot of what this website used to look like, but I wouldn't be surprised if those images of the people holding the phones were also AI generated. That's it for this one. Let's head on to the next one. Explicit AI images of Taylor Swift.
My whole situation, my whole feelings about Mr. Beast, how I feel about him as a whole, in the audience, I'm explaining that in another video.
And more. It's not often that Democrats and Republicans support a bill and seem to be in a rush to make it a law. This, however, is something that was witnessed earlier this year when AI-generated images of Taylor Swift began going viral across the entire internet. Someone generated and shared.
Oh, hold on. Since he's talking about Taylor Swift and AI, like I was on Twitter, right? And I'm pretty sure you guys know. I was on Twitter and they doing like doing some fake news reports, something about Taylor Swift fans with supporting Trump, and it's like, ain't that illegal? Ain't doing AI to help you win the election? Ain't that like against the rules and some shit? I mean, like I'm not really much of a political person, but I don't think you can do that.
Graphic AI images on Twitter, which caused so much havoc that Twitter had to block any searches related to Taylor Swift for a while. The images, which also
and there's some people who actually think these stuff is real,
showed Taylor Swift in a series of sexual acts in the stadium while dressed in Kansas City Chiefs memorabilia. Obviously, I'm not showing that on the screen.
These gotta be these little ass boys. These gotta be these damn men.
And given this was ahead of an NFL playoff game, it went super viral on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, and Instagram. The New York Times even reported that one image was viewed over 47 million times on Twitter before the account behind it got suspended. Nothing much was known though about who made the images, but it was reported that they were likely made using Microsoft Designer and shared first on Telegram. Imagine how the person that made these images feels knowing that they got away with it. They're just somewhere out there knowing that those images.
Creating fake images and fake videos to make it seem like that's actually them when it's not. I mean, like, I kind of feel like you gotta have a lot of time on your hands to be doing that shit. And most of them, they gotta be these little ass boys and these grown, insecure, stupid ass men that do nothing all day but jack off and bitch about women and game mad all goddamn day. It gotta be these damn men who creating these damn fake eye images, these sexual images. It gotta be.
Taylor Swift trended all across the internet. If you guys weren't there, I don't know how you could have avoided that news, but anyway, let's continue the story. Microsoft later gave a statement that they had gone ahead and fixed the loophole that made such images possible in Designer. Now, like I mentioned, this specific incident sparked a bipartisan conversation.
Oh shit, nah.
Lost Louisiana Medicaid?
Where can we find a low-cost health plan?
What about a plan that covers...
Yep.
about the need for laws protecting victims of deepfake pornography, and so, eventually, it led to the introduction of the Disrupt Explicit Forged Images and Non-Consensual Edits Act, aka the Defiance Act. The bill got passed by the Senate recently in July and is awaiting House approval. Interestingly, if it becomes law, it will allow victims to sue the creators of non-consensual porn deepfakes for up to $150,000 or even $250,000 if the images lead to, quote, actual or attempted SA, stalking, or harassment. This is what was deemed as befitting punishment with Rep. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, who introduced it to the Senate, arguing it was necessary given that 96% of all deepfake images floating around the internet are non-consensual pornography. Now, regarding Taylor Swift's case, it was said that she considered pressing charges, but no updates were given on that. Her fans, also known as the Swifties, family, and friends were furious though, and took action to protect her, even
as they should, because what the fuck?
Taylor Swift. That, however, wasn't the last time Taylor Swift would be the victim of deepfakes. Barely a month ago, Donald Trump posted images suggesting that Swift
I heard about that.
fans are backing him up in the upcoming elections. The 4 images show different things, but the message is sort of the same.
I was like,
There's,
ain't no
for
fucking
instance,
way.
the Uncle Sam character captioned, "Taylor wants you to vote for Donald Trump." There's also a girl in a red shirt written "Swifties for Trump," and the one suggesting that Swifties turned to Trump following Taylor's concert cancellation in Vienna. The irony of the whole thing, though, is that Swift has publicly criticized Trump in the past, in 2020, and the last...
Wait, hold on.
The irony of the whole thing, though, is that...
This from after stoking the fires of white supremacism and racism your entire presidency, you have the nerve to feel more superior before threatening violence. When the looting starts, the shooting starts, we will vote you out in November. Ooh.
Is that Swift has publicly criticized Trump in the past, in 2020. And the last
talk your
time
shit,
he was in
Taylor.
the political party was also in 2020, and now it's for the Democratic Party. That said, Trump hasn't been shy in sharing AI-generated images on his Twitter
And it
account,
got
as he even shared one where
81.4 million
commenters
views.
a communist rally at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago.
I saw this photo on
You see
Twitter too.
Elon and Trump on Twitter posting so many AI-generated images. I actually had to go out of my way to mute them because I just kept seeing so, I guess, borderline just disinformation with these AI images. It's so annoying that this is even a problem, but it's even more so annoying that these are just powerful figures using AI. Anyway, going back to Taylor Swift, she could absolutely sue Trump over the images, but then in an interview, Trump said he isn't worried about that because the images, quote, were all made up by other people, and we are yet to see how that turns out.
Okay, but so these are your fucking supporters, Trump. I mean, like, even though you're not telling them, oh, go out and go make fake images of the Taylor Swift fans or supporting Trump, it's like, based on your actions and the way how you is, it's like, basically, you are telling them. So it's like...
Middle schoolers create explicit images of classmates. A really disturbing thing about non-consensual deepfake technology is that anyone could get access to them. Anyone. Your little 11-year-old cousin could get access to this technology. So, is it really that surprising that middle school boys were using this to mess with their classmates and the teachers? That's what happened in this case where 2 teenagers from Florida, boys aged 13 and 14, used AI to create explicit images of other students, both male and female, aged between 12 and 13. This happened last year at Pinecrest Cove Academy in Miami, where the 2 boys ended up getting arrested in December of 2023. It actually worked well for the victims that Florida had already passed a law in 2022.
You in middle school and you know how to do this? Nigga, I'm 23 years old and bitch, I didn't even know how to do all that shit. Like, while I was in middle school, I was just doing, like, teenagers things. Like, bitch, I wasn't even focusing on these type of things.
Criminalize the sharing of any non-consensual, altered sexual depiction of a person. And the case was in fact Florida's and the US's first
like, how do y'all even do that, first of all?
Individuals involved in sharing AI-generated nudes. Imagine holding that title. Not only were you 13 and 14 years old, but you guys were the first people to be charged with AI nudes. Now, the reason I'm saying it worked well for the victims is because elsewhere, such cases have not led to any arrests despite police reports being filed. This is also
like, nigga, go play outside.
Domain. We're talking of cases like the Issaquah High School, Washington incident, where kids use Nudify apps to undress other students and the staff. Another case where in Westfield High School in New Jersey, male students took photos from female students from their summer activities and turned them explicit. And there's even another case in Beverly Vista Middle School, California, where the same thing happened, undressing of female students using AI. Now, going back to the Florida incident, and honestly considering all the other incidents, the underlying consequence was, or has been, that female students ended up not feeling safe in their schools. A mother of one of the victims in Florida, for instance, emphasized how she not only felt violated as a parent, but that her daughter and others wouldn't feel comfortable walking in the same hallways with the boys who were responsible for such behavior. Anyway, initially the boys responsible were suspended for 10 days, but following more outrage, they actually got arrested. There aren't many details on the case because it involves minors, so not highly publicized, but it's safe to assume they face some sort of consequence. The charges they faced fell under the third-degree felony, which has the maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. The lawyer who represented the victims, Stephanie
Wow.
Martin, however, also insisted that fake nude images of minors carry the same weight as possession of CP. Now, while these cases of deepfake explicit images in U.S. schools are sad, what has been going on in South Korea is far more disgusting. It turns out the perpetrators over there went as far as creating Telegram channels for distributing these fake images organized by region and school. Yes, they categorized the victims by region and school, and not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 schools. Nope, an entire list of 477 schools nationwide, elementary, middle, and high schools. They're creating deepfake images of these kids and sorting them out by school.
Oh my fucking god.
But yeah, it's pretty disgusting stuff overall. Let's head on to the next case.
And these are these heterosexual ass people. These be the same people that be like, oh, us LGBT community, we don't do shit like that. So, what the fuck you call this?
Fake drugs by deepfake scientists. Erectile dysfunction. There you have it. I didn't need to ask that. Let's get on with the topic. Ads for erectile dysfunction solutions are nothing new on the internet. They've been around since forever. However, when you combine them with deepfakes, you get a whole new level of deception. Fraudsters are now using publicly available images of scientists to generate more believable social media ads that promote their erectile dysfunction solutions. One such case was reported in South Africa, where Kamantsa Mathabi, a practicing urologist and academician, was alerted to an image of her promoting a fake drug. This of course caught her by surprise because she had never been involved in any sort of promotions in the first place. And to make it worse, the videos were realistic enough that even her family and friends kept asking her why they saw her face each time they went on Facebook. Now, initially, she assumed that someone was just using her image to sell fake drugs, something apparently common in South Africa. However, when she dug further, she realized it was worse than that. Someone was phishing. When a person clicked on the ad, it would be redirected to a website where they'd be asked to enter their banking information. And those who did ended up having money siphoned out of their accounts many times over and never received the advertised medication. And if that wasn't enough, she began receiving phone calls of people accusing her of stealing their money. The whole thing sparked a conversation on the way AI deepfakes are being used in ways that tarnish the credibility of scientists in different fields. There's actually a very similar story from India where deepfake videos of Viswanathan Mohan, a well-known and respected voice on matters of diabetes, have been used to sell fake drugs online. Elon Musk deepfakes. Elon Musk has a lot going on already, but in an equal measure, there's this other side of him that's surrounded by sort of weird controversies. He recently made headlines, for example, because as of being trolled by his inventions, Grok AI to be specific, a deepfake video of him committing armed robbery went viral and made headlines globally. Of course, during the debate on the boundaries of generative AI models. The video, in the style of CCTV footage, has him wielding a gun in a store, holding an employee at gunpoint, then setting the store on fire using what looks like a flamethrower, before finally getting arrested and escorted away in handcuffs. Like I already mentioned, the video was kind of trolling Elon's Grok AI, an AI tool under his company XAI. This was because of his decision not to yield to quote woke censorship standards observed by the likes of OpenAI's ChatGPT. The Twitter account behind that video, the Door Brothers, called it having some fun. And in the entire 1-minute clip that they generated, they included other political figures like Donald Trump, Barack Obama, President Biden, and Putin. Now there's a whole debate about the boundaries of such AI videos, and as to the extent that it should be illegal to generate them.
Of course they're gonna put Joe Budden in a fucking wheelchair. Y'all act like Donald Trump, this man, he in his 30s or even in his 20s. Like Donald Trump, his old ass is old too. So I don't know why they treating him like he's young. Because
That's
ain't
something
Donald
lawmakers
Trump
are
is
still
like
figuring out.
2 years,
What's for
like
sure
2
criminal
years
is
behind
creating these
Joe
deepfakes and
Biden.
using them in ways that leave
Joe
a
Biden.
trail of real victims. There is, for instance, a case dating back to July 2023 where a South Korean woman lost $50,000 to a scammer that was impersonating Elon Musk on Instagram. Now, how did these people fall for that? Look, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the fact that they did fall for it. The woman, referred to only by the pseudonym Zhang Jaisen, was convinced she met Elon on Instagram after he messaged her and claimed that he did so to random followers all the time. Fake Elon then sent her his ID and photo at work, both obviously AI generated. The article didn't provide the images, which I wish we could have seen this realistic looking ID photo. He did this to prove his identity, and soon after, he professed his love to her via a deep fake video. Again, I wish we had access to this. That's what got her to believe she was dealing with the real Elon Musk, and unfortunately,
And they got Kamala Harris
sent
arrested,
the
like,
scammer
what?
$50,000.
I wanna know what's her
Elon
reaction
told her to send the cash to a
when she
Korean
saw that.
bank account owned by one of his employees. As funny as it is,
And you got
it's still a
Obama
sad
holding the gun and
situation that
shit.
This person was used, and $50,000 is a crazy amount of money. But the thing is, this isn't the only person that isn't scammed by using Elon's likeness. There's another example from a few years back where a fishy trading company, Quantum AI, was tricking people into investing in AI-powered trading of stocks, forex, etc., using fake endorsements by Elon. They made a whole speech of him talking of his magical quantum computing software that could win stock trades at a rate of 91%. There was apparently even an ad for the same in Australia promising returns of $5,700 a day to Australians. The catch? Well, a minimum investment of $400. The ads also ran in the UK, with an investigation by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism uncovering about 321 such ads by Quantum AI running on social media with a combined 1.2 million views. They estimate that the scammers spent between $19,000 and $41,000 on those ads alone. And of course, there were real victims too, as the investigation found that a woman lost her entire life savings. You know what? Again, we're not going to make fun of these people, we're just going to talk about them. While another person only lost a couple
Be
hundred.
careful,
And
y'all.
probably
Please
more
be
crazy
careful.
is that the scam might still be going because as I researched this, the first searchers
Ollie and Anna seemed so perfect. And what people didn't know was she was screaming for help.
search result from Googling Quantum AI Elon Musk, there's a website, Elon Musk Trading, that is branded as Quantum AI with arguably quite dodgy content. Biden's fake robocalls in New Hampshire. One of the major concerns when it comes to deepfakes is how will they impact the presidential election? I mean, as it stands,
like,
45 of the 50 states have got...
Like I said before, like I just said, there are these AIs, fake images. I kind of feel like that's gonna affect the election. Like, there are some people who actually got them enough to believe this shit.
Sort of legislation going on about the use of deepfakes in elections with the hope that the use of AI-generated images, audio, or video will be prevented from misleading voters and swing the outcomes. Now, these legislations are for a very good reason, because just earlier this year,
Vote for
there was a
Kamala
very
Harris,
bizarre
y'all.
case where a fake robocall was being used to discourage Democrats from New Hampshire from voting in the state's presidential primary elections. And just a little context here, usually what happens is that a party holds primaries, gets the preferred candidate supported by delegates, who then runs in the general elections against the other party's candidates. All that to mean voters who are participating in their party's primaries in any state is very important.
A bunch of malarkey. We know the value of voting Democratic on our votes count. It's important that you save your vote for the November election. We'll need your help in electing Democrats up and down the ticket. Voting this Tuesday only enables the Republicans in their quest to elect Donald Trump again. Your vote makes a difference in November, not this Tuesday. If you would like to be removed from future calls, please press 2 now.
In New Hampshire, though, the Democratic National Committee and the state had a falling out this year over the calendar for the primaries, causing President Joe Biden's name to miss from the election material. So, to make sure voters weren't derailed and the party still got Biden in, Kathy Sullivan, the treasurer of a political committee, encouraged voters to write Biden's name directly on the election material. You can therefore probably see why a robocall purporting to be 1 from Biden, 2 suggesting to have been sent out by Sullivan, and 3 telling voters that it wasn't at all important to participate in the primaries would be a bizarre thing. The call recording actually went as far as to tell voters that their votes in the primary wouldn't make a difference and that they should just wait for the November elections. It even claimed that their participation only helped Republicans in their quest to get Trump back into the White House. That was so odd that Sullivan herself couldn't believe the extent of attempted voter suppression. Now, given the sensitivity of the matter, the New Hampshire Attorney General's office got involved, and soon enough, they determined the audio was AI generated. It also came out in reports that the audio had been made via 11 Labs AI voice cloning software, and that the account involved had gotten banned soon after. Then, close to a month later, the Federal Communications Commission ruled that AI robocalls were illegal, classifying them as artificial under a 1991 federal law against junk calls. This means the FCC could prosecute anyone caught imitating politicians, celebrities, or any other person really. And it also means states now get more room to make similar prosecutions at state level. Probably why, again, 45 of the 50 states currently have their anti-deepfake legislation going on. Now, going back to that fake Biden robocall, later investigations found out it was all the work by a man of the name Stephen Kramer, a 55-year-old political consultant who apparently specializes in get out the vote.
Of course, bitch ass nigga, you look like you would do some shit like this. All I gotta do is look at your face and that tell me everything I need to know.
Projects. Kramer admitted to making the recordings, but insisted his intentions were to simply highlight the dangers of AI in election manipulation. Sure thing, buddy, we all believe you on that one. The FCC would hear none of that though, and recommended he get fined $6 million, and Lingo Telecom, the firm that distributed the calls, would be fined $2 million. In court, Kramer pled not guilty to the 26 charges he faced, 13 felony and 13 misdemeanor. He was released on a $10,000 bail. His case is still ongoing, but looks like he's unfazed by possible jail time. Part of his crime, voter suppression, carries a jail term of between 3.5 and 7 years. Slovakian election deepfakes. One of the major pieces
The jail
of news that
system
started
is
around in the month of
fucked.
August was the arrest of 39-year-old Pavel Durov, the founder and CEO of Telegram. It's alleged that this guy had been invited to Paris by a top government official, only for the government to turn around and arrest him. Why? Well, his social app Telegram has always maintained an encryption standard that prevents authorities from cracking down on any suspicious users and activities within the platform. The Western governments have particularly been unhappy with Telegram's opaque nature, and Durov himself has at one point claimed that US law enforcement agencies, such as the FBI, have tried to get a backdoor to the app, even allegedly trying to bribe its developers on their visits to the US. Anyway, having failed to cooperate with authorities, the next best thing for the authorities was to charge him as being complicit in crimes that happened within the app. That's why he's facing 12 charges, including one for complicity in selling CP. Now, the reason I'm bringing up Telegram here is because at the start of 2023, in Slovakia, Europe, Telegram became the breeding ground for 2 deepfake recordings that ended up actually disrupting their elections. According to a report by CNN, barely 2 days before the elections, the deepfake audios of Mikhail Semeka, one of the top candidates, spread around from Telegram to other social platforms, with his voice being heard talking about how he had rigged the election and equally damning to his image, about how he was planning to raise the price of beer. Also, the situation was probably worsened by the lack of a quick response.
I don't know how y'all
from
can
media
drink
platforms
beer.
in removing the deepfakes. Facebook was actually blamed for letting the copy sit for far too long. Interestingly, TikTok was praised for managing to take down all the copies of the recording. Anyway, with the slow action by some of the social media companies, the end results were that the candidate's voter bloc got swayed. It was unclear, however, how many exact voters jumped ship. What was certain though, according to information from Daniel Milo, an employee from Slovakia's Ministry of Interior's unit to counter disinformation, is that the 2 recordings were made with AI and had some of their first origins and posts from pro-Russian politicians. That fact actually gave the whole thing a new twist because it became a suspicion that there could have been some influence from Russia in the sabotage of Mikhail Semeka. And for context, Semeka was the pro-NATO candidate at the time, meaning his interests aligned with those of Western governments like the US and UK. His opponent, though, who ended up winning, was more aligned with Moscow and had close ties to the Russian president Vladimir Putin. Erupt's $25 million deepfake fraud. One of the most mind-bending deepfake crimes that happened earlier this year was actually in Hong Kong, where an employee of UK engineering group Erupt's Hong Kong branch transferred $25 million to fraudsters believing his senior manager had instructed him to do so. Now, before I describe what happened, you should first know that Erupt is a massive company. They've been around for more than 78 years and have about 34 offices globally with around 18,000 employees. They also earn annual revenues of about $2.64 billion. They're also well known for some of their iconic projects, including the Sydney Opera House and the Etihad Stadium in Manchester. So, a big company that is arguably an easy target for fraudsters. And I'm saying that justified by the fact that we've seen firms like Facebook and
Man pled guilty to pushy scheme that frees Facebook, Google up.
Google gets swindled out of millions by fraudsters via fake invoices. That's just because as big as these companies are, it still gets pretty difficult to track every single payment, which is why some scammers actually end up succeeding when they try scamming these huge corporations. Anyway, what happened in Iran is that in mid-January, an employee in the finance department in Hong Kong received a message from what appeared to be the firm's UK chief financial officer. The officer was apparently requesting for a confidential transaction to be carried out. The employee apparently had a moment of doubt, but that soon got cleared after they received an invitation to a group conference call that included the company's CFO, other staff, and some outsiders. Unknown to the employee, the people they were seeing on the conference call were not real. They were deepfakes. The fraudsters had used publicly available audio and video footage to digitally recreate the meeting's participants and then read from a script. In the meeting, they asked the employee,
"Are you looking for more in this world? Are you ready to be part of something big?"
to do a self-introduction, but somehow never engaged them much. Actually, the employee said the meeting turned out to just be orders being given before it ended abruptly. Now, as of doubling down on their strategy, they continued engaging the employee using instant messaging, emails, and video calls. This went on for an entire week before the employee finally directly contacted the UK headquarters to make an inquiry. Unfortunately, by the time they were doing so, they had already facilitated 15 transfers to various Hong Kong bank accounts totaling $25 million. An investigation was immediately set up and is ongoing, but as it stands, it's not clear if there are even possible suspects in the case. What we do know for sure, though, is the company confirmed that indeed deepfake technology was used in the fraud, and that though they suffered financial loss, their overall financial stability and business operations didn't suffer. Their statement also said that their internal systems were not compromised. They maintained that everything was all good, although a few weeks after, the company's East Asian chair, Andy Lee, stepped down, claiming he decided to embark on a new opportunity. It wasn't, however, clear if his departure was due to the fraud case or some other related reason. Now, I've already mentioned that this case is yet to be solved, but it might already have some positive side to where it serves to other companies as an example of what not to do. In fact, Orup's chief information officer, Rob Grieg, was quoted saying, "I hope our experience can help raise awareness on the increasing sophistication and evolving techniques of bad actors." Also, while reporting on the story, some publications shared details that might be useful in fighting back against deepfakes. Fortune, for example, explained that in the event one suspects are on a call with deepfake, you can ask them to turn around, which will most likely expose them, or to hold up an item such as a pencil. Voice clone of CEO. We've just gone over the case of Arup and how they lost $25 million to fraudsters. This next one is simply a close shave, but in a different company. So what happened is that still this year, Mark Reed, the CEO of WPP, a massive global marketing and communications firm, got cloned, and the deepfake almost led to a successful loss of money and personal details. Apparently, the fraudsters started by creating a WhatsApp account and used an image of Reed that they downloaded from the internet. They then used that account to set up a Microsoft Teams meeting where the fake Reed and another cloned senior executive met an agency leader. They asked the leader to set up a new business, with the end goal being to solicit money and personal details throughout the whole process. The meeting fell through, and it's unclear if the fraudsters were ever caught. Now, I'm going to bundle this one up with an incident from 2021 involving Ozy, a media company, and Goldman Sachs, just because they fall under the corporate type of fraud. And what happened was actually really strange, because this time, it wasn't outsiders that were trying to get in, but rather one corporation attempting to take advantage of another. It was reported that Ozy, a media firm founded in 2013 by a man named Carlos Watson, had been just about to close a $40 million investment deal from Goldman Sachs, with one final meeting remaining before everything got sealed. Now, Ozy had sort of misrepresented itself as having a great relationship with YouTube, as they already had millions of views on the platform. And to support that notion, and also as part of the due diligence process, a meeting was set up between Goldman Sachs asset managers, the Ozy team, and a YouTube employee, Alex Piper, head of the unscripted programming under YouTube Originals. A total of 4 people combined. This meeting began fine on Zoom, but Piper apparently said he was running late and had trouble connecting, so he made a suggestion that they do a conference call. They did that, and Piper went on to talk about how great Ozy was, and even praised Watson, the CEO, on his leadership. But then, the Goldman Sachs side quickly got suspicious when Piper's voice began sounding artificial, like it had been digitally altered. Long story short, it turned out that wasn't Piper at all. And keep in mind, this was 2021. When Goldman Sachs reached out to YouTube, the real Piper said he had no idea about the meeting or even OZ's claims. Soon enough, the FBI got involved and it all went downhill from there. Watson, the OZ CEO, tried claiming that Samir had done so due to mental health issues, but it later became clear they were all in on it. In fact, in 2023, Watson himself got arrested and charged after a series of other fraudulent activities were revealed at OZ. One of those being that they faked a contract with Cable Network One for them to obtain a bank loan faster. The Securities Exchange Commission charged them with defrauding investors of about $50 million through such misrepresentations. Absolutely weird behavior. Face swap to obtain fraudulent bank loans. It's a known fact that US bank accounts have been fighting credit card fraud for years. In fact, in 2023 alone, a total of $246 million was lost to such frauds across the country. Now, bad as it is in the US, the methods of fraud would probably look outdated compared to what has been happening in Hong Kong lately. Between July and September 2022, for instance, it was revealed that a syndicate of 6 people, led by one mastermind, had been using stolen identity cards to open bank accounts and obtain loans. The 6, aged between 28 to 50, managed to open 54 bank accounts using 8 identities and made 90 loan applications to 20 banks. And all the way majority of the applications were rejected, 4 of them went through and earned them about $25,650. Now the way they would do it is by using deepfakes to trick the facial recognition system and hence get the accounts and obtain loans. Also, besides the loan theft, they were also involved in phishing scams, having sent out over 7,200 messages from the 30 SIM cards they registered with the stolen identity cards. They did have a pretty awful success rate though, because the police only reported one successful phishing attempt where the victim handed over their credit card information and the fraudsters used it to make online purchases. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. If I earned your subscription, please subscribe. Click that subscribe button. If you want to
Yep, and I'ma head out too, guys. That's it for this video. Just like Tuv said, subscribe to his channel with his fine, cute, sexy ass. Nigga, you cute. But anyway, subscribe to this channel. His name is Tuv. Go search him up. And yeah, before I head out, I'd like to say something. Yeah, these AIs is a little bit scary. So if anybody can like use your, if you put yourself out on the internet, you don't. It could be a little bit scary that you might think that somebody will do some AI shit and take your face and use it as fraud. Like, it's, yeah, just be safe, y'all, and don't fall for these damn tricks that you see online, because a lot of y'all really do that. Like, y'all believe anything y'all see on the internet. So yeah, that's all I have for this video, and take care.
And I'm in a bad bitch and I got it, oh yeah, I'm still saying